What we see needed in Haiti, like I said, education is the key for moving this country forward. Like not any type of education, but Christian education. And hopefully we have like a, we'll put up like a Bible and trade school. And we got the project already planned with a church from California that will do all of that. They got the blueprint, they got everything. We're just waiting in the last say to start. And it is because so many of our kids go to Port-au-Prince. Unlike the earthquake, for example, we got so many kids that died just because they want to go there to get some, you know, Bible training or you know, computer, whatever it is. But we see in that community, wow, if we can provide that and bring the teachers from Port-au-Prince and said to benefit so many kids up here, as we did for that school, we got one teacher and then so many kids. So this is what our next project is for this coming year. Yeah. So it will be Bible, agriculture, and education, and then administration. This is for things that we'll be doing.
It'll be very integrated. You know, so a man or a woman came in and wanted to be a pastor. They will also have a really good basis in education and agriculture, because here, you know, a pastor, it's very rare for a pastor to be able to be supported by their church. You know, the tithes are low. Yep. I mean, just people don't have a lot of money, so even if they tithe, it's pretty low. So they usually have to have something else going on too at the same time. But an education teacher, agriculturalist, or whatever, you know, later on masonry, carpentry, those guys are going to get a really good foundation in Bible, so that it goes back to what UCI wants to do: equip Haitian leaders, equip Haitian Christian leaders, you know, to change the community. We would like to have what happened here, what the gospel did to this community. It started with the gospel, and then we just went into community development, which is really what makes sense according to the Bible. Start with people's hearts, and then of course community development kind of flows from that. We want to do that someplace else, and we don't necessarily have to be the ones doing that. We need to have Christian leaders that have the same passion to do that, change people's hearts, or present the Bible, have God change their hearts, and then the community development will flow from that. And so we just think the next logical step is to give that education, give that foundation in a university setting, and get good, strong leaders out there to change Haiti community by community, you know, church by church. Have the local church do the work, you know. So that's our hope.
And one day, probably, I take one example with Christian Fellowship. Probably one day you won't come here to see us. You will go to somewhere else and see like a place where you see I started through a student. And then you work with them there and develop that same thing. There is no such a thing for us to bring all of that team here and do everything here, and then the rest of Haiti is suffering. But if we can see that same model works, what not to spread, like take one community at a time and change it for that same purpose. So that's the goal.